Welcome to Backcountry Profiles, where I've been traveling around the country, skiing the high points, and talking to local backcountry skiers. In this episode, we're going to talk with John Egan. He's been in 17 Warren Miller films. He's inspired Gen Xers and older millennials like myself. He's going to talk about Vermont, how to get started backcountry skiing there, and some of the groups that are working in conservation and access. Let's hear from John.
Hi, I'm John Egan. I'm Chief Recreational Officer here at Sugarbush Resort in Vermont. I'm a Boston boy who came here 42 years ago and really cut my teeth here in the Green Mountains. You know, quite often I get asked why Vermont is my home, and I've skied all over the world, but I always come back here, and I find that here with my buddies that I hang with and ski with and backcountry ski with, they're some of the toughest in the world. They're hardcore guys. It's a great training ground, and I'm an East Coast boy. Vermont has bred a lot of Olympians, a lot of backcountry, a lot of extreme skiers. Doug Coombs came from Vermont. I mean, you have just such a love of skiing here that it goes generations deep. I look at the boys from TGR who grew up skiing at Stowe and what their parents passed on to them, and how my parents passed on the love of skiing. And when they grew up, it was all backcountry skiing. There was a trail up this mountain, there was a trail up that mountain, and that's what you did in the morning. You went up and skied. Here in the East Coast, and particularly in Vermont, we have gladed trails. You're skiing in the woods. There's a lot of open woods that we would call open. Maybe a Western skier might think they're a little closed in, but we do have some chutes and gullies. But basically, you're gonna get 2,000 to 3,000 vert. You're going to be alone in the woods, you're going to see a lot of wildlife and feel like there's no humans within miles, and there probably won't be. With my background in backcountry skiing, I've really been a proponent of teaching the youth and any adults that are interested. So, for example, here at Sugarbush, we have a whole group that meets every weekend throughout the whole winter called the Ski Mountaineering Blazers. And those kids are learning safety, teamwork, leadership, backcountry access, how to work their gear, and how to orientate themselves, where they are, what's going on, and a lot of good communication. And we also have that all the way up to adults. You got places like Bolton Valley, which is run by the Delorier brothers, and I ran a guide service with the Deloriers for over 18 years. And they have a backcountry rental shop, they have guides, they have daily tours, they have a whole area right next to their resort just for backcountry. So it's accessible to people who want to learn. I suggest you go out and learn at an established place. So the backcountry here in the East Coast is definitely can be dangerous, and you need to be aware, you need to have some experience and go with an experienced guide. There are slides here. We can get heavy snows, and even a short little slide can push you off a cliff. We've had deaths here. You gotta know the area, you gotta know the conditions, and you still need to be savvy, really important. You know, back in the 80s when we were going in the backcountry, we would seek out large clear cuts and climb these peaks where we saw they had been logging. And we just had some of the best snow and the best days. And we were the only ones out there doing it. We never ran into any other tracks. We'd run into a snowmobiler here and there, or a Sugarbush. You might see someone out there tapping trees to make maple syrup. But nowadays, it's very organized and it's much better. We have the Vermont Backcountry Alliance, and I was lucky enough to be on the board and sit there with people from the Forest Service and the state, and a lot of advocates for backcountry skiing. And it's developed some gladed areas all throughout the Green Mountains that are accessible to everybody, and there's a great future plan to expand this with all the full support of the state, the environmentalists. It's all done correctly, so the drainage, and we're not harming like a Bicknell thrush area or anything like that. So environmentalists are involved. It's really a great collaboration. RASTA is in Rochester area, Trails Alliance, and they are a great system. They've been in the works for quite a while, and you can go down in Rochester and ski some of these backcountry places that you'll just be blown away. They're gladed out, there's a place to park, there's not many people there every day, but it's very accessible. So it's really part of the progression that we need to have. Vermont is a great place to be from. We have maple syrup, some of the best in the world. We have some of the best backcountry skiing in the world, some of the best craft brews in the world, some of the best views in the world. And you know, come here and try our fly fishing some summer. One thing that I really love to do is share my experience. And if you want to share an experience with me, find me at feeltheturn.com. We'll see you there. You can find exotic trips, or we'll just hang and talk.